All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining the program we have now, Mr. Nick Shirley. Nick, how you doing, man?
Doing great. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's a friendlier crowd than maybe you're used to. I've been told about your reporting. I've seen a lot of it before. Do you feel that at all? Nice to be in a nice, friendly environment as opposed to, surrounded by people who are threatening you?
It does feel good to not have to be worrying about my safety right now as far as people coming after me.
What's the most interesting place you've been in the last year, do you think?
The most interesting place I've been in the last year is definitely the Favelas of Brazil.
Yeah.
That's somewhere that I've been where I didn't even believe life could function like that inside of a place.
What were you trying to do when you were down there?
I wanted to go interview the people and see what the life was like inside the favelas, because you always hear about the favelas.
Is that where you were staying, in a favela, or did you have like a hotel or something?
I had a hotel outside the favela, but I spent a few days in there, and I couldn't believe that it was actually as true as it is, as that the gangs control this city, essentially.
What do you mean? As someone who's never been in a favela myself, what was like the day-to-day like? What was your general takeaway?
Yeah, so the favelas are basically a government. The gangsters are the government inside of the favela. There's 300,000 people living in one area that the gangs can completely control.
Yeah.
And there's 14, 15-year-old soldiers walking around the favela with huge AR-15s and just living life like it's nothing new.
Did you at any point feel like your life was in danger? Did they give you any problems or threaten you or anything like that?
Yeah, when I went into the favela, you had to pay a tour guide, and I asked him who are we paying this money to? Well, it's to the gangs to let you in.
Yeah.
And then everything you do is monitored by the gangs. There's cameras inside the favela, and then the tour guides would only let you go in certain parts. And then if they wanted to take you to a different part, you would then ask for permission, and if they didn't give you permission, it's because the gang leader was nearby.
Yeah. What kind of content were you getting when you were down there?
I was just seeing what life was like inside these favelas. I couldn't believe it.
Interesting. Okay. I heard too you spent some time in London. Is that right?
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time in London.
Who are you interacting with over there?
I've been to a few of the marches that have been held there. I originally went there just to see what was happening because I've heard illegal immigration or mass migration.
Yeah.
Not even illegal because a lot of their immigration is legal, but how mass migration has shifted London.
Do you have to worry at all while you're over there getting that kind of content that the police are going to arrest you for hate speech or something?
Yeah, that's the thing that's interesting about being in London. You don't have to worry about being attacked per se. You have to worry about being arrested for the videos you make inside of London.
Yeah.
So I always film and then I post them once I get out of London.
Okay. How long do you typically stay over there when you're over there?
Just enough time so I can film my video and leave.
Okay. What do you think is the best content that you got while you were over in London dealing with these kinds of people?
I think the last march they had where they had over 1 million people out in the streets of London, that was pretty incredible. Just to see how many people are actually very not as much interested, but more so impacted by what's happening in their country. That 1 million people came out to support.
What was that? What was the point of that gathering?
Yeah, it was a free speech gathering, and then with that also came they're speaking about mass migration.
Yeah, and so this is mass migration from Islamic countries, from African countries, and you had 1 million, I'm assuming, native Englishmen out demonstrating against those measures. What was that like? Was that a good energy? Were people more or less happy to see an American over there in support of them?
Yeah, very much so, because they say that if it wasn't for Donald Trump, who knows what would happen with the West because they're scared to do stuff now because they know Trump will say, well, we're going to give you a tariff if you don't do this or do that. So therefore, they feel a lot more safe and they feel like their country is going to be in a lot better position because Trump does stand for Western values and he doesn't want to see these other countries get diminished.
Yeah, the Trump administration has given a lot of good opportunities to European governments to restrict migration, undo migration, and so we're very excited to see that. How do you feel about that so far? I mean, we're a year into the second Trump admin. Some people are very happy, some people are disappointed. Where's your head at these days with that?
Yeah, I think they're doing their best, and I think you're seeing how hard it is to actually carry out these deportation measures because of whether it be protesters impeding on these investigations or just the fact that now you have even local law enforcement or politicians inside their areas actively telling people how to avoid ICE.
That's right. So is this your first AmFest event?
This is actually my third.
Okay. How are you enjoying it this time around? Obviously, there is a looming shadow over the event given the, circumstances that we're in presently, but I think it's a pretty good energy. I think people are pretty much optimistic and looking forward to the future.
Yeah, I think everyone's here because they love America and they're supportive of Charlie Kirk, so it's good to be here. It's sad also at the same time to think the man who built all of this isn't here.
Sure.
Whether you liked him or you didn't like him, it's just 30,000 people are showing up here because of the movement he created, which means there's 30,000 people here, there's also 30,000 people back at home.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I heard that the fire marshal had to literally beg them to stop letting people in because we were reaching capacity pretty quickly. So you spent some time over in London dealing with the sort of, consequences of mass migration. You spent some time in Brazil rubbing shoulders with the favela residents. I'm assuming then that you must have a pretty good read on, immigration, demographics as a political issue. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you say that's like the most important issue to you then politically?
To me, yeah, I would say so. Like,
Sure.
I think that's the stuff that most people are interested in because their simple way of life is changing because of the effects of mass migration.
Yeah. How do you think the Trump administration's been handling that so far?
I think they're doing good. I don't understand or I don't agree with Trump about like the H-1B visa stuff.
Sure.
Like, why are we going to bring in all these people as well? Like, we want to stop mass migration. Like right now, like everyone wants it halted.
Yeah, it's interesting. He was really good on that in like 2015. I remember he posted, not on Truth Social because that wasn't a thing yet, but he was posting about that specifically being an issue. And of course, Ann Coulter's Adios America is the book that like inspired his entire 2016 campaign. And she dedicates an entire, not chapter, but subsection of a chapter in that book to specifically the H-1B issue. And so I'm optimistic that we'll see some ground made there and that we can maybe put an end to that after, what has it been, like, I don't know, 35 years now that we've had, the expansion of that program as it exists now. So I'm pretty optimistic, but other than immigration and demographics, American workers, jobs being given to American workers, what are some other issues that you're concerned about as a Gen Z young patriot?
Yeah, I think like just being able to buy a house.
That's right. Yeah,
and being able to buy like it's so hard, like hundreds of thousands of dollars, like around $500,000 in certain places just to get a decent house.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, too, with the immigration issue. I mean, ultimately, it is influencing those other issues like affordability. We have more people competing for fewer houses, and so obviously that price is going to go up. And so it would be shocking, I think, to the average American voter how their quality of life would increase if we simply sent back every person who is not supposed to be in this country.
Yeah, and people don't understand, like, with that, like the liberals, for instance, they don't understand, like, the pure concept of supply and demand.
Yeah.
Like, the more people you have here in this country, the more of a demand there is, the less of the supply, the higher the price is going to go.
Yeah.
And just goes with housing as well. And
yeah, it's absolutely
jobs.
Right. All right, man, tell people where they can find you. Tell people where they can see this literally death-defying content that you're making.
Every week, somewhere across the world, I will be on Nick Shirley.
Hell yeah.
On all platforms, like Shirley Temple.
Thank you for joining the program.
Thank you.